So I did that. I got involved in hunting tests, field trials, became an AKC judge. For probably 10 years, I judged for AKC field events and retrievers. I've never done any judging or competition in pointing dogs. A Labrador Retriever in the higher level games, it's much more learned. You have to understand the dog's the breed and the dog's temperament, and then you channel that to get what you want out of the dog. But in the high level of the lab work, it's significantly much more learned from the handler-dog interaction. But a lot of the stuff for gun dog training is transferable no matter what the breed.
Yep.
Now, have either of you guys had gun dogs before? I know you've had them. You've been around them a long time. You did, okay.
All right.
Well, obviously, obedience is a critical thing, and I think obedience is a cornerstone of everything. The magic of gun dogs is that they're bred with a strong desire to please. And if you ever have a dog that doesn't, you know the difference. You know, it's like pushing a rope up a hill. So with a strong desire to please, and everything comes from that. And obedience is a cornerstone. So as you guys have learned from your obedience work here, knowing sit, stay, come, heel is very workable in your kitchen or in your backyard. Then you go to a place like this and the dog behaves like a behemoth and you're embarrassed. It's like, come on, you did this at home. And then you get it mastered here, and then you take a walk downtown where there's other social distractions, and then he or she's a behemoth again. Same thing with gun dogs. You know, you're going to need to get the dog exposed. And so when you get to the point where your dog's controllable out in the field, sit, stay, come, heel, start taking walks. You know, even hiking behind the high school in the fallow fields back there that they ride horses in. Get out there and get the dog exposed to a lot of different smells. And that's good advice. What I would do with a dog that young is when he's eating, you know, where do you feed him, in the house or outside? Okay. So, you know, if you're in the kitchen, bang a couple pots and pans together, and
he hears that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a blender.
So if you vacuum cleaners. I've seen dogs freak out at vacuum cleaners. So the odds are he's not going to have any trouble, but a shotgun going off is a lot louder.
I mean, he hears the guns going off in the yard too now.
So you've done all that you need to do right now. And with Cooper, you know, get him around industrial equipment, lawnmowers, vacuum cleaners, etc., so that he knows that he doesn't have to fear it, and he's going to get a lot of information from your body language. Right. Has Ina taken you guys on the walk through downtown yet?
No, I haven't. No. Okay,
that's one of the things that she does, and it's usually a real eye-opener. That's one of those deals where the owners go, oh. The dog is yours, just keep it, sort of thing. And that's to be expected. And so do that. Take it for walks in parks. You know, you see how Cooper is intently watching to see what Taylor's doing. But yet he's a good citizen. He's just standing there. And so do that a lot. What you'll find is that people will start commenting, oh, your dog is so calm, oh, your dog is so polite. Those are the cues that you're doing things right. Okay, come to the right a little bit because you're too far to the left. It's a piece of paper right in front of you now, about 10 feet. Just see if he hunts it up. He scented that from a long ways away. Let him work it out. Good boy. Good boy. Now at this point, go ahead and toss the bumper up in the air and let it land in the same spot because he scented it. He just hadn't figured it out. So you want to reward it. Ted. Ted. Good boy. Sure. So now they'll ground scent and then they'll air scent. And the easy way for them to scent is to air scent. And so that's the very first thing that young dogs do.
Right.
You saw him pick his head up and scent in the air. And to put your nose on the ground and trail, that's a lot more effort. And so he's going to learn that. I was impressed that he picked up the scent out here. That was nice because there's not much scent on that.
Yeah, it didn't seem like.
Another interesting thing is that I didn't realize at first is that there's actually a difference in scent between a live and a dead bird. You can take a bird that you're using for training. Let's say it's got a shackled or has its wings pinned back, and the dog will be really excited about it. As soon as that bird happens to die for some reason, and same thing if it's a shot bird, the dog will come over and sniff it, and sometimes he's just bored looking for that live bird. Difference is the respiration. Dogs can actually smell the breath from the birds, and it's an amazing thing to see. Okay, so let's bring Cooper up. Over here, Cooper. The wind's not blowing favorably. Feel it shift? Okay, slow that one. Good boy.
Good boy, good boy.
There. Let me work it out. That's it. Nice. Done.
Got it, good boy.
Good boy.
Coop. Good boy, yeah, good boy.
Good job. One of the things that's probably good right now is to teach him to set on a whistle. I don't know if your other bird dogs have ever done that. So, for example, when you're doing yard work with him or the house, take your dog whistle, and for us, and the standard is one blast. Teet means stop, sit down, and look at me. Whatever you're doing, stop, sit down, and look at me. And so little things like that. But let's say, you're doing yard work. When you say sit, sit, tweet, and do that for a few days. Marry them together, and then pretty soon the dog will be second nature. You won't even have to say sit. Just go tweet. Dinner time. You're getting ready to put the dish down. If they eat at specific times, they're all excited. Oh boy, dog food, it's my favorite. Tweet. Make them sit. And then what will happen is when they're young and you start doing yard work, they start getting out there. Tweet. Make them stop until you get caught up, and that'll teach them to look back at you. You can stop them if they're ranging too far till you catch up, and then you can also teach them to cast. Have you ever seen that done? You cast by hand signals?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty impressive.
And as your dogs get better, and even pointing dogs, I think it's a really good idea to teach them hand signals. In Labrador Retrievers, it's essential. And so there's a drill that you do called baseball. And imagine the pitcher's mound right here. And you are standing at home plate. You make the dog sit and stay on the pitcher's mound. And then you put a couple bumpers on each of the first, second, and third base. And you make them tweet, sit, stay. You walk back to on plate. And you stand there and you say, over. And you cast them to third base. They pick it up and bring it to you. You walk them back to the pitcher's mound, sit. And then you cast them over to the right. That technique, that learned skill would be very helpful in pointing dogs too. Because if you want them to go into cover, whether it's after a down bird, or you think it looks really birdy and you want them to go scent it out, tweet, they stop, they look at you, over. You cast over and they'll dive into it. These dogs, both these dogs have a very strong desire to please. They'll learn that easy. And you could do that puppy drill in just a few weeks with your little dog. Your dog's probably ready right now to do that sort of thing, to start doing hand casts.
Okay.
And that sort of thing, if you want to do some search and rescue, critical for that. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be scabbling all over that rubble. You want to have your dog that's wearing the protective boots, cast it up there and then over, send him over to the next pile.
Right.
Let's see, what else? Oh, I would also say, usually in an area, if you're interested in getting some bird dog training in, usually there's a pro that's in the area that has a kennel. And for a nominal fee, they'll let you come and train with them. And there was a very famous trainer out of Kansas named D.L. Walters. And D.L. was one of the masters of retriever training for decades. And D.L. would let you come down, and for, I think it was $15, you spent the day with him and his professional trainers. You learn by watching them run their kennel full of dogs, and then you'd bring your dog up and he'd help you work through drills. You also helped him carry dead birds, drag boats, you know, go get pigeons and stuff like that. So he had a benefit out of it, but that was hugely influential on my dog training. I'm sure there are some pointing dog kennels in the area that do that. Also, that place up on 59 we talked about, you can buy quail, and that's what I've done. Is I've just gone in and with a crate and buy a couple pheasants or a couple. What I got is quail. I think the quail were like $6 or $8 a piece. And then the third thing you can do is, if you know somebody with a barn that has pigeons, you can either set traps or go in at night with a flashlight and net the pigeons. These dogs should be soft-mouthed enough that you'll get many weeks of use out of a pigeon. What I typically did is I put them in a dog crate. I had a spare dog crate, and I fed them crushed dog food, and they loved it. And I would keep pigeons for weeks. So that's something else you can do. Anything else you guys want to try today? I didn't bring a whole lot of gear because I didn't know what I was going to be dealing with. Anything you want to do more of while you have the bodies?
Another central would be good.
Okay, let's do that. So he smelled it. And this bottled scent is a poor substitute for real birds. He's scenting it. Look at that. Look at that, boy. That's a lot of perseverance right there. Yeah! Woohoo!
Good job, Tay!
Now I didn't put scent down except right behind the bench. There you go. He's air scenting too. Bam, right there. Good job. Woohoo! Happy him up, happy him up. Good job. So again, at this point.